But I'm still going to record this anyway and make sure I get, whatever's, so that maybe in the daytime they can get the message. Steal from homeless people. Don't bully homeless people, people who don't really have much going for them, and bother people for every little mistake they made in their lives. That's not good. And make living a complete painful, unbearable existence. What is the point of it? There's no point in that. And a bunch of people just draining your energy and sucking it out of you so they can be happy is not how things should work. That's not how this should work. If someone struggles to sleep, don't steal their sleeping pills. Don't do that. If someone struggles to function, don't take their ADHD medications. Don't do that. Don't use the little small things that people do wrong as a reason to do much bigger horrible things and call yourself a king or a genius or anything like that, or BA, or all those terms, whether positive or negative terms, to say that you're so great when all you do is hurt others at their expense so that you can have something when we could all have something. And when people show willingness to make improvements in part and be progressive, don't stop them. Let them show that they're really about what they say they're about. I understand that communities have so-called gangs in order to, like, protect their communities and stuff like that. And I'm not really judging them for that, because these people come from this end and these people come from this end. And sometimes gangs were, but when gangs is something that people have so they can keep a group of people together to do bad stuff, to hurt good people, that's not gangster, kids. The most gangster thing you can do is be yourself and do what you're supposed to do, like your homework, your schoolwork, play with your friends, and you could play with yourself and just have fun and do what you're supposed to do, and learn responsibility. Keep your hands to yourself and speak up. And there are people that you should be able to talk to if someone touches you inappropriately or harasses you because they don't give you what you want. And watch out for people who do what's called predatory lending, when they are constantly trying to put people in your life and how they can extort you sexually, which means that they're trying to play with your private parts or learn all your business and see how they can manipulate you and try to make you look like a fool before everyone. And then you get really mad and blow up, and then they act like you're the problem, and when you're not. And also remember, really and truly, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And not because people shoot outside and make it scary. No, but because I really do. But I'm having trouble sleeping at night. This is a horrible reality I shouldn't have to deal with, even though maybe I will get sleep. And I keep getting robbed. And it's just horrible that I have to keep going through this. It's not fair. And all these movie references and all these ideas and stuff. And it's like, can people just get rest and creative connections in their mind by themselves, rather than always having a system pushing them further than they need to be pushed? I I do actually take care of my hair. I just the things I had or have been taken, so it's going to be harder to take care of myself because people keep stealing, and they differentiate people this, folk that. It's like these are human beings, and aren't we supposed to be operating more intelligently instead of comparing the behavior of delinquency to that of children and saying that that's how children act, when really children think like geniuses and have wonderful ideas. So, to all the bad people out there who can look at my every little mistake and try to profile me with all these different profiles and bully me constantly, how about people just get to the point and realize that they're wrong and they just need to leave me alone. Stop trying to make me a bad guy and stop trying to provoke all the most negative things that you can provoke from a person. Instead, they understand that you can bring out the best in someone. That's what you can do. And yes, you can look at my messages and find that I get mad and tell people off and call them mean things. But that's not a reason to go and steal someone's stuff and be like, hey, you're going to learn. There's no lesson to be learned. All right. I had clothes. I had 2 green bags and a black and red bag with all of my belongings. And I keep getting robbed. Why? People keep robbing me of opportunity and trying to stop me from getting jobs. Why? I don't want to have sex with these silly men or these women or anyone for the matter if they're going to keep on robbing me and acting like I don't have the right to safety or identity. I'm not interested. And keep trying to provoke me to violence or other things of the sort because they can't just come to terms with the fact that maybe I'm not interested in whatever they have going. I'm not interested. And why are my cheeks kind of sunk in when I'm eating every day, eating constantly? I'm tired. I have the right to get sleep, I have the right to be safe, and I have the right to all that. And I shouldn't be getting harassed by people just because I put my hands on top of my personals when I'm going to sleep. That'd be a comfort thing. And all these dots I have to connect based on the past. At some point, it gets old. I just want to live my life. Please, thank you. And the problems of the mind, they should be treatable, and they should just get treatment for that instead of being driven insane. Hope I didn't say anything I shouldn't say in the video. But children, we need to treat others the way we want to be treated. And I'm going to apologize to people, but sometimes it's not that we shouldn't apologize, that sometimes people don't deserve our compassion. But I would be devastated if you children, no matter what you've done, if people were to treat you like this. That's not how you treat children. And these people are trying to use the excuse that, oh, we're just babies. No, they're not babies. These are adults that may have some form of brokenness, but they're not actually taking the time to understand that they need to develop past their constant foolishness, their folly. Time to grow on some level, some scale. Can't just keep on doing the same silly mess. You have to grow up and just be bigger on the inside. You could be 4'7", but if you're big in the spirit, then that's what matters. And I'm done with the death threats. I'm not allowing people to kill me. I refuse. I do not enjoy this at all. Means no when it comes to things like sex. You understand that? And don't start putting your hands where they don't belong. It doesn't mean that the person has a right to reciprocate if you touch them, but they're not really wrong if they respond in arousal or being turned on by what you do to them, because it's not what you're supposed to do. If they don't consent, if you're not old enough, you have to learn how to be a person before you start doing adult things. And then there has to be mutual respect and connection and genuine desire to love and get to know one another when you get to that point in life. But start off by being young first. A lot of people haven't been given the chance to be children first. Before you can be an adult, you have to be a child first. Allow the children to grow. Seriously, this is not funny business or silly talk. I'm serious. And then when it's time for people to grow, allow them to grow. Don't just teach youth a bunch of stuff to make them feel bad about things like sex. Help them understand that it's not a time of having it, but it's not a bad thing. It's just a matter of development. Sex is great. It's just not something that you want to have too soon. You want to develop and grow as a person so that when you experience sex, you can experience it with someone that you really love and care about, and that they feel the same way about you, and that you're not just using each other and hurting each other with sex. This is the topic that adults and children need to have. And when families, when people grow in time, that they really need to communicate with each other among themselves about things like family matters. This is serious. I'm serious because I'm sitting here in the streets being robbed over stupid stuff from when I was a child, and people won't just let me go, just leave me alone. And that's how they feel. Well, I care about how you feel, but you don't keep robbing me and doing things to me out of jealousy because you're mad because you feel like you'll never triumph over your issues. It's time to get serious. I know people like to have fun, but this is, and I can see the parallels using the hip hop music and rock music and other themes like that in order to keep a certain narrative. You can't just keep on blaming hip hop artists and rock stars and all this other stuff. They can be bad and they make jokes. It's funny. I remember listening to Eminem when I was a kid, and what are the other clips and Twista and the Brat. I listened to a lot of gangstery music, Snoop Dogg, Be Real, hip hop. I also listen to Judas Priest. I listen to Crazy Little Filth. I listen to Ozzy Osbourne and stuff. And in these, and a lot of these artists actually have a real message. Some of them just like to do party music. I don't see any of these artists as reasons to attack people or do crazy stuff. I don't think so. I even used to listen to more silly stuff like Bow Wow and Romeo, and it was cool. And I was just like, okay, well, Bow Wow does what Bow Wow does, Romeo does what he does, and them franchise boys and D Pharrell, and but then also went to like really like different sounding music like symphonic metal of Dimmu Borgir, and which is kind of like I think they had better riffs than Cradle of Filth, but Danny Filth has those vocals, man. He just can't top that. I mean, but then also listen to opera, jazz, soul, R&B, house music, when I guess techno, um, all kinds of music. And I just liked what I liked. And it just seemed like at some point in life, like I started going to college, doing my own thing and thinking for myself. And then as soon as I do that, then it's like, boom, getting sick and getting ill. And it's almost like they just really don't want you to succeed in life. And I'm suffering. And I don't know why I have to suffer like this. I don't want to hurt the children with this information I'm giving you. It's really sad. But I care. And the thought message that's coming to my mind is that because I'm supposed to tell children that gay people are bad, trans people are bad, those are demons and sins and da da da. And all they're really doing is harming and raping these people and using them as weapons. The asexuals are just tricks that you use to fool people into thinking they can have sex and they can't. That's wrong. Everyone has a right to be happy in their existence. We don't always get what we want, but then we need to learn how to be happy with ourselves. And it's a topic that your parents may not be ready to talk with you about, but it's just another day in the life for me. Things like masturbation, that sometimes people spotties that we don't want to be addicted to pleasure too much, but sometimes you have tension, and when you get to a certain point in life that your body tells you that you need to release fluids or urges or something like that, and you don't can't always put yourself next to a partner. People aren't always available to have sex with you. People aren't contraceptives to cover yourself with. People aren't just blow up dolls and other things to use sexually, but rather that they are human beings with feelings. And I, even in times in the past when I didn't actually marry someone or something like that, I understood that when I interacted with someone, it was a form of love and I actually showed them love, even if it was a one time thing. But at some point, I didn't want to live a life where I just picked pleasure over dedication and to act like people didn't matter because they do. But sometimes we get too close to each other and we need space, or sometimes we even break away, but we still care about each other. Because at some point in your life, you want to do what works for you, and it can be hard sometimes. But we don't have to shoot down the other person and as a way to move forward in life, because that's not how life works. I mean, some people make it that way, but then they tell you that you're crazy. And then there's another thing that people should stop lying about things like having schizophrenia, because they'll sit there and say you have schizophrenia because you've witnessed things that are obnoxious in life. But then if a doctor or a police officer or something gets killed and someone asks you a question, then suddenly your word is not valid because, oh, you're schizophrenic. You can't talk. We know everything about you, type of thing. And just telling you that because you made this silly mistake or that silly mistake when you were a child or a teenager or even a young adult, that you are never to have, I don't know if reproach is the word, but never to have redemption, and that you can never be anything. It's not right. Because sometimes people are doing things they shouldn't be doing themselves, and they always need a scapegoat or a fall guy or someone to take the blame while they continue to hurt others. And that's not life. That's the death we don't need. People die, and that's a part of life, but it shouldn't happen like that. And life could be heavenly. It could be so much better, but people only want to have things for themselves and want everyone else to suffer. That's evil, and I don't have time for that. And they want you to be docile in your approach to people. You want people to be gentle with you. You be gentle with them. It's that simple. And we need to stop supporting businesses and people that don't care about their communities and just only see the profits. And really, it's that we are people who work together in order to make things work for better tomorrow. I really mean that. Really. Hmm.